Hello, it is Topical, Tuesday, 2/22/22. Steve Sipress here. 2/22/22, say that backwards. Beautiful sunset going on behind me that the iPhone camera, there it is, not catching in its entirety, but there's some of the gold and orange and purple and red. Very cool kind of sunset up here in the mountains, just outside of sunny Scottsdale, Arizona, on a relatively cool day that we're not used to. Only got up into, 60 or 70 today, but it'll be back into the 80s next week as we head into the spring. And then soon enough, it'll be into the hundreds as we head into the summer. But first, tomorrow, we're actually expecting a little snow, inches of snow up in the mountains around Phoenix, and a low of 35 degrees overnight in the city. Anyway, enough of the weather forecast. Topical Tuesday is all about something that's in the news. And I don't really have a business lesson about this, just my personal thoughts observing this Canadian trucker fiasco, which is completely botched on all sides. First of all, I'm never a fan, as I have said before on a daily video I shot a week or two ago, never a fan of these protesters blocking the roads. I cringe every time I see unless you get a permit, right? If you get a permit to march, then march to your heart's delight. You'll even have the police on your side and guarding you and escorting you and making sure everything's okay and the counter-protesters don't go crazy and all that. But these truckers just decided without a permit, we're going to block the road, we're going to block a bridge, we're going to block an intersection. I'm never a fan of that. Cut that out. So if you ask me, immediately, they don't need any emergency in this. And then you got this prime minister invoking this obscure, ridiculous Emergencies Act. Nobody needs an Emergencies Act to tow a truck that's blocking an intersection. Heck, if I'm double parked for 2 minutes in New York City, they're going to tow me. If my car breaks down in the middle of an intersection or a truck breaks down, they're going to tow it. If it's there for weeks, they can certainly tow it. Nobody needs an extra mandate or some kind of a, proclamation by the prime minister of the country to tow a truck that's stopped in the middle of the road. Just tow it. In fact, the proper way to handle these things is to nip it in the bud, to stop it immediately. First truck pulls up, blocks an intersection, you back up a tow truck, you tow it away. Then you tow the second one. How much longer do you think until the rest of the trucks say, we're out of here and go somewhere else? So number one, protest all you want, but get a permit for your marches or blocking the streets. Don't be blocking the streets either on foot or with cars or trucks or anything. That's a bunch of BS. But if you are the government, don't be seizing people's bank accounts because they're protesting, even though they're protesting wrong or they're blocking traffic or you don't like their politics or so. So this is just completely botched on both sides, okay? My solution here to these truckers, if you want to do this kind of stuff and block an intersection, block it for a short amount of time. Say, we're going to block this intersection, and the second the tow truck starts showing up, we're out of there. And then we're going to block this one over here, and then we're going to this one over here, and we'll do this one in this city, and we'll do this one on Tuesday, and that one on Wednesday at noon, and this one at 3 o'clock over here, and do very temporary things where you don't get in trouble. Don't be parking and setting up a bouncy house and block. That's like this chop zone thing in Seattle last year. Don't be taking over a street and making it your own street for a few weeks or whatever, a summer of love last year, whatever that nonsense. I'm just not in favor of this taking over the streets for your protest crap. Protest on the sidewalk, get a permit if you're going to block the street, or block it for an hour and then go, or 10 minutes, but as soon as they threaten to come and tow you or arrest you or anything, you're off to the next ones. Now, you got all these truckers and all the people supporting them. Most of the protesters, of course, not actually truckers, but you got all these people that are losing now their trucks getting towed, they're losing their license to drive, they're losing their insurance, they're losing their livelihood, all the businesses around there are all shut down, all these people getting arrested, having their bank accounts seized, the government's looking like a complete fool, how they handle this. You got police brutality, you got authoritarian dictatorship controlled by the prime minister. It's completely botched on all sides. I guess the business lesson would be don't botch things on all sides when you're running a business either, right? But I really don't have a business lesson from it. You figure it out. But if you're running a protest, running a country, if you're leading anything, like, man, this is textbook example of how not to lead a protest, how not to lead a government. Complete mess on both sides. And now I hear there's a rumor that the U.S. truckers are going to do something in the U.S. and do it. So hopefully they don't do it anything similar to this, because it'll be another disastrous mess of ridiculousness. Okay, you can get your point across a lot of ways other than taking over city streets like they did in the CHOP zone, Chaz zone, whatever, or this Ottawa intersection, whatever. Like, come on now, cut it out. And for governments, cut it out with the, haven't we had enough for 2 years of these authoritarian, arbitrary mandates and seizing of this and shutting down businesses and arresting people and firing them because they won't take an unnecessary drug that they don't need and all kinds of crap? Like, can we just cut out all the crap already and get back to living? We'll see. And we'll see starting again tomorrow on World Wide Web Wednesday. Thanks for being here today. Over and out. Rant over. Bye-bye.